Welcome to our special feature on the best photos of World War II. In this collection of powerful images, we witness moments of courage, sacrifice, and hope that defined an era. Get ready to embark on a visual journey through the most striking and emotional moments of this historic Operation Claymore, executed on the 4th of March, 1941, marks a significant chapter in the annals of World War II, showcasing Britain's strategic shift towards commando warfare. This raid on the Norwegian Lofoten Islands was not just the first large-scale commando operation of the war, it was a bold statement of intent and capability from the British forces. The Lofoten Islands, situated within the Arctic Circle, were strategically important due to their fish oil factories. Fish oil was a crucial resource, not just for nutritional purposes, but also because it was a key ingredient in the production of glycerin, which in turn was used to manufacture high explosives. By targeting these factories, the British aimed to cripple the German war effort by cutting off a vital supply chain. The operation involved approximately 500 troops from the British Commandos and the Royal Navy. These forces were transported aboard 10 ships, which navigated the treacherous waters to the Lofoten Islands. The surprise and speed of the attack left the German defenses overwhelmed, allowing the British forces to carry out their objectives with precision. During the operation, the commandos destroyed 11 fish oil factories, which resulted in the loss of an estimated 3,600 tons of fish oil and significant quantities of glycerin. This dealt a blow to the German production of explosives. Additionally, the raiders sank 9 German merchant ships, adding further disruption to the enemy's logistics. Moreover, Operation Claymore had secondary objectives that included gathering intelligence and undermining German morale. The commandos captured a set of rotor wheels and a codebook from an Enigma machine, which proved invaluable to the British cryptographic efforts at Bletchley Park. This intelligence coup played a part in the eventual cracking of the Enigma code, which would have far-reaching effects on the outcome of the war. The operation also had a psychological impact. It demonstrated the reach and daring of Allied forces and served as a morale booster for the British public and military at a time when victories were few. It also spread fear among the German forces, making them aware that they could be vulnerable even in what were considered secure locations. Operation Claymore was not only a tactical success, but also a strategic one, providing a model for future raids and shaping the commando tactics that would be used throughout the war. It highlighted the effectiveness of targeted, surprise attacks against infrastructure critical to the enemy's war efforts and demonstrated the importance of intelligence gathering in modern warfare. On March 5, 1944, a train carrying 732 Jews from the Westerbork transit camp in the occupied Netherlands arrived at Auschwitz-Birkenau, the infamous Nazi concentration and extermination camp. The journey marked yet another grim chapter in the Holocaust, with many of the victims never leaving the camp alive. Upon arrival, the SS officers conducted a selection, a brutal and inhumane process to determine who would live and who would be murdered immediately. Of the 732 individuals on board, only 255 were spared immediate death. Specifically, 179 men and 76 women were admitted to the camp as prisoners, where they would face forced labor, starvation, disease, and constant fear of execution. The remaining 477 individuals, predominantly children, the elderly, and those deemed unfit for work, were not so fortunate. They were immediately led to the gas chambers and murdered. This ruthless selection process was standard practice at Auschwitz-Birkenau, where over 1 million people, primarily Jews, were systematically exterminated. The transport from Westerbork was one of the many organized by the Nazis to carry out the final solution, the genocide of the Jewish people. Westerbork, initially established as a refugee camp, became a transit point for over 100,000 Jews from the Netherlands during the German occupation. From there, Jews were deported to various concentration and extermination camps across Eastern Europe. At Auschwitz-Birkenau, those selected for immediate execution were deceived into believing they were going to take a shower. Instead, they were herded into gas chambers disguised as shower rooms, where they were exposed to the lethal Zyklon B gas. The entire process was designed to prevent panic and maintain the illusion that the prisoners were merely being relocated or subjected to routine hygiene procedures. Despite the unimaginable horrors they faced, some survivors lived to bear witness to these atrocities. Their testimonies, along with historical documentation, continue to serve as a somber reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the importance of remembering the past to prevent such tragedies in the future. The story of the 732 Jews from Westerbork who arrived at Auschwitz on March 5, 1944, illustrates the systematic nature of the Holocaust and the scale of the Nazis' genocidal ambitions. It is a reminder of the resilience of those who survived and the memory of those who perished in one of history's darkest periods. On March 4, 1943, a significant episode unfolded during the Pacific theater of World War II. On this day, Japanese transport ships were under intense aerial attack. These attacks were part of the Allies' strategic efforts to cut off Japanese supply lines and weaken their operational capabilities in the Pacific. The Japanese transport ships, often laden with troops, military equipment, and essential supplies, were vital for maintaining the Japanese advance across the Pacific Islands. The location and details of the routes taken by these ships were often well-guarded secrets due to the high risk of interception by Allied forces. Allied forces, primarily consisting of U.S. and Australian air units, were tasked with intercepting these transports. These aerial squadrons were equipped with bombers and fighter planes, adept at launching swift and destructive raids on Japanese convoys. The aim was not only to destroy the ships, but also to disrupt the logistic capabilities of the Japanese military, which heavily relied on these transport routes for reinforcements and supplies. The aerial attack on March 4, 1943, highlights the intense and brutal nature of the warfare in the Pacific. It demonstrates the strategic importance of air power in disrupting enemy operations and showcases the relentless pursuit of the Allies to cut off the Japanese Empire's expansionist ambitions. These attacks had significant implications for the war's progression in the Pacific, leading to increased isolation of Japanese garrisons on remote islands, who faced shortages and were eventually overwhelmed by Allied forces in subsequent campaigns. On February 12, 1942, a notable event in World War II history unfolded at North Weald Airfield in Essex, England. This day marked a moment captured in time involving 11 members of the 403 Squadron of the Royal Canadian Air Force, RCAF, standing proudly beside a Spitfire MKVB. This squadron, known as the Wolf Squadron, was an integral part of the Allied air operations during the war. The Spitfire MKVB, a key aircraft in the RAF's arsenal, was central to Britain's air defense strategy and was renowned for its speed, agility, and precision. By 1942, the MKVB model had been equipped with enhanced armament and was pivotal in confronting the formidable Luftwaffe. 403 Squadron, comprised mainly of Canadian pilots, played a crucial role in the air battles over Europe. Their involvement on this day in 1942 is a reflection of the broader contributions made by Canadian forces within the RAF during the war. Stationed at North Weald, they were at the forefront of some of the most intense phases of aerial combat during the conflict. The photograph of these 11 squadron members with their aircraft serves as a poignant reminder of the courage and commitment of these young men who flew numerous missions over hostile territory. Their efforts not only exemplified the bravery required to navigate and survive in such perilous conditions, but also highlighted the international nature of the fight against Axis powers. Understanding the historical significance of this image and the men and machine it captures offers a window into the daily realities faced by World War II fighter squadrons, where teamwork, technology, and tenacity were key to achieving victory. In February 1944, during the Battle of Anzio, one of the noteworthy weapons deployed by the German forces was the 17 cm Kanone 18, K-18 heavy howitzer. This artillery piece played a crucial role in the conflict due to its formidable capabilities. The 17 cm Kanone 18 was designed for long-range shelling, capable of firing a 68 kg shell to a distance of up to 29,600 meters, making it one of the most powerful artillery pieces of its time. Its primary function was to engage enemy fortifications, supply lines, and troop concentrations from a distance, thereby providing strategic support to the ground forces. The Battle of Anzio, part of the Italian campaign, was an Allied effort to outflank German defensive lines in Italy and establish a foothold near Rome. The landing at Anzio was intended to accelerate the liberation of Rome and draw German forces away from the Gustav Line, which was under heavy assault at Monte Cassino. However, the Allies quickly became entrenched, facing stiff resistance from German units equipped with heavy artillery like the 17 cm K-18. German forces utilized the high-velocity and long-range capabilities of the 17 cm K-18 to great effect at Anzio, where they bombarded Allied positions relentlessly, causing significant casualties and material damage. The presence of such heavy artillery made it challenging for Allied forces to advance and required adjustments in tactics and an increase in counter-artillery operations. The strategic use of the 17 cm Canona 18 at Anzio illustrates the importance of artillery in World War II, highlighting how both technology and terrain could influence the dynamics of battle. The deployment of this heavy howitzer not only demonstrates German tactical proficiency in using artillery, but also underscores the harsh realities of prolonged warfare where both sides vied for any advantage in firepower and positioning. On May 10, 1968, a significant step was taken towards ending the Vietnam War when delegates from the United States and North Vietnam convened in Paris, France, to begin peace negotiations. This meeting marked the culmination of years of intense combat and political strife, reflecting the global tension of the Cold War era. The talks were aimed at resolving the conflict that had deeply divided Vietnam and involved the United States alongside South Vietnam against the communist forces of North Vietnam and their Viet Cong allies. The negotiations in Paris were complex and fraught with challenges, reflecting the deep-seated mistrust and conflicting ideologies between the parties involved. The talks would drag on for an astonishing 1,723 days, highlighting the difficulty of reaching a consensus. The protracted duration can be attributed to several factors, including disagreements over the terms of ceasefire, the future political landscape of Vietnam, and the withdrawal of U.S. troops. Throughout the negotiation period, the war continued to rage on, causing further casualties and destruction. The discussions were often stalled by procedural issues and debates over the shape of the negotiating table, which, although seemingly trivial, reflected deeper issues of recognition and equality among the participants. Over the years, the talks saw various phases of progress and setbacks, influenced by international pressures, changing administrations in the U.S., and shifts in military strategies. The eventual agreement, known as the Paris Peace Accords, was finally signed on January 27, 1973. The terms included a ceasefire across Vietnam, the withdrawal of U.S. forces, the return of prisoners of war, and the continuation of North Vietnamese troops in South Vietnam, which was a contentious point for Saigon and Washington. This prolonged negotiation process in Paris not only exemplifies the complexities of diplomatic negotiations in wartime, but also serves as a sobering reminder of the challenges in resolving conflicts where deep ideological and political divisions exist. The Paris peace talks are now often studied as a case of international diplomacy, demonstrating both the possibilities and the limits of negotiation in achieving peace. In 1943, amidst the horrific expanse of World War II, a poignant and terrifying moment unfolded in Warsaw, Poland. Here, SS troops, elite soldiers of Nazi Germany known for their ruthless efficiency and unwavering loyalty to Adolf Hitler, were photographed guarding a group of suspected Jewish resistance fighters. This confrontation was not just a mere military operation but a stark representation of the escalating conflict between Nazi forces and the Jewish population striving for survival under oppressive conditions. The Warsaw Ghetto Uprising, as it came to be known, was a significant event that this photograph indirectly relates to. In April 1943, as the final liquidation of the Warsaw Ghetto began, a coalition of Jewish resistance groups made a brave and desperate stand against the German forces. It was the largest single act of Jewish resistance during the Holocaust. Despite being poorly armed and vastly outnumbered, these fighters held out for nearly a month, longer than some countries had resisted Nazi invasion. The resistance in Warsaw was a symbol of defiance and a testament to the human spirit's resilience in the face of overwhelming adversity. The photograph of the SS troops and the Jewish suspects serves as a somber reminder of the brutal measures employed by the Nazis to suppress any form of dissent and the extraordinary courage of those who stood up against what seemed like insurmountable odds. In reflecting on this image, it is crucial to acknowledge not only the historical context of the events, but also the human stories of struggle, resistance, and the quest for dignity amidst one of history's darkest chapters. In today's profile, we spotlight the B-24 Liberator, serial number 42 to 52442, famously nicknamed Red Hot Riding Hood. This aircraft was part of the 466th Bomb Group, which played a pivotal role during World War II, operating from Attlebridge, England. The B-24s were known for their durability and versatility across various bombing missions across Europe. Red Hot Riding Hood distinguished itself not only by its evocative name and artwork, but also through the harrowing experiences it endured. A particular mission highlighted the aircraft's resilience, where it suffered significant damage. The damage was most notable on its wing and the number 4 engine. This kind of damage typically occurred due to anti-aircraft fire or enemy fighters, which were constant threats during bombing runs over occupied Europe. The number 4 engine, positioned on the outer right wing, was crucial for maintaining flight stability and power. Damage to this part of the aircraft dramatically increased the crew's risk during their mission. Despite these damages, the crew managed to return the plane safely, a testament to both the robust design of the B-24 and the skill and calm under pressure of its crew. Such stories of bravery and mechanical endurance are central to the legacy of the 466th Bomb Group and the B-24s they flew. These bombers, crews, and their missions significantly contributed to the Allied war effort, disrupting enemy logistics and weakening German military capabilities. Red Hot Riding Hood's story is a vivid reminder of the risks faced and sacrifices made by airmen during World War II, underscoring the human element behind the large-scale strategic operations. Each mission flown by these aircraft was a complex interplay of human bravery, technical skill, and the harsh realities of wartime aerial combat.